Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you held an object in your hands and thought about how it was made? Not just assembled or packaged, but actually created from raw material into a finished part. For most of human history, making things meant cutting away, hammering, casting, or molding. But right now, in labs, factories, hospitals, and aerospace facilities around the world, something fundamentally different is happening. Objects are being built up, layer by layer, from digital files. And that shift is quietly changing every industry you can think of. I am talking about additive manufacturing. And if you work in engineering, design, manufacturing, supply chain, quality, business development, or really anywhere near a product, this is a subject you cannot afford to ignore anymore. This playlist is built around the textbook Additive Manufacturing Essentials. And over the course of 8 focused chapters, we are going to walk you through everything from the physics of how these processes actually work, all the way to how companies are building profitable business models around this technology. So let me give you a complete roadmap of what this course covers, what you are going to learn, and exactly why each piece of the puzzle matters. We start with Chapter 1, Fundamentals of Additive Manufacturing. Think of this as your foundation. We are going to break down what additive manufacturing actually is at its core, how it differs from traditional subtractive and formative processes, and why those differences matter in practice. You will come away from this chapter understanding the shared workflow that runs through every single AM technology, from the digital file all the way to the finished part. Chapter 2 takes us into core AM technologies and supporting processes. This is where we get into the real variety of what is out there. Powder bed fusion, directed energy deposition, binder jetting, material extrusion, vat photopolymerization, material jetting, sheet lamination. Each process has its own strengths, its own limitations, and its own ideal applications. We will also look at the supporting processes that happen before and after printing, because the print itself is only one part of the production story. Chapter 3 covers AM materials. A process is only as good as the materials it can work with, and additive manufacturing has developed a rich and growing library of options. We will look at polymers, metals, ceramics, and composites, and we will discuss how the material interacts with the process itself. Understanding materials is not just a technical detail, it directly shapes what you can design, what performance you can achieve, and what applications are actually viable. Now we get to one of the most exciting chapters in the entire course. Chapter 4 is Design for Additive Manufacturing, and this is where additive really earns its reputation. Traditional design is heavily constrained by how things can be made. Additive manufacturing flips that equation. In this chapter, we explore how designers and engineers can take advantage of geometric freedom to create parts that are lighter, stronger, and more functional than anything possible with conventional methods. Topology optimization, lattice structures, part consolidation, we cover all of it. Chapter 5 is Certification. Here is where things get serious, especially if you work in regulated industries like aerospace, medical devices, or defense. Certification is the process of demonstrating that a part, process, or system meets the requirements needed for it to be used in its intended application. We will walk through what certification frameworks look like, why they exist, and what it actually takes to move a printed part from prototype to production ready in a regulated environment. Closely related but distinct, Chapter 6 covers additive manufacturing qualification. If certification is about proving a part is fit for purpose, qualification is about proving that your process is capable of consistently producing that part. This chapter digs into process qualification frameworks, the role of testing and inspection, and how organizations establish the documented evidence that builds trust in AM as a production technology. This is the chapter that bridges the gap between possibility and reliability. Chapter 7 introduces the Additive Manufacturing Digital Thread. This might be the most forward-looking chapter in the course. The digital thread is the connected flow of data that links every stage of the additive manufacturing lifecycle, from initial design intent through simulation, production, inspection, and end-use performance. When it works well, the digital thread enables traceability, accelerates iteration, and unlocks entirely new ways of managing product quality and supply chain complexity. We will look at what that data ecosystem looks like and why it is becoming a strategic priority for manufacturers. And finally, Chapter 8 brings everything together from a strategic perspective with the business of additive manufacturing. Technology is only useful if it creates real value, and this chapter examines how organizations are structuring their AM strategies, where additive makes economic sense versus where it does not, how supply chains are being redesigned, and what the competitive landscape looks like. Whether you are evaluating AM for your company or building a career in this space, this chapter gives you the business fluency to have meaningful conversations at every level. So let me tell you what you are going to be able to do after you watch this full playlist. You will be able to explain how the major additive manufacturing processes work and when to apply each one. You will understand the material options available and how material choice interacts with process and design. You will know how to approach design differently when additive manufacturing is on the table, taking advantage of geometric freedom to create better products. You will understand what it takes to certify and qualify AM parts for production, especially in demanding industries. You will be able to speak intelligently about the digital infrastructure that supports modern AM operations. And you will have a strategic framework for evaluating additive manufacturing opportunities from a business and commercial perspective. That is a genuinely powerful set of capabilities, and it is built on real technical depth, not just surface-level hype. Additive manufacturing is not a niche technology anymore. It is a production reality in industries that cannot afford to get things wrong, and the professionals who understand it deeply are the ones shaping what comes next. Each chapter in this playlist is designed to stand on its own, but they build on each other in a logical sequence. If you are completely new to AM, I recommend starting at Chapter 1 and working through in order. If you have some background and want to jump to a specific topic, the chapters are labeled clearly, and you can navigate based on what you need. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss any of the upcoming chapters. We are going to go deep on each of these topics, and you do not want to be catching up later. Let us get started. Chapter 1 is next.